sensation for Pfizer's COVID vaccine for children. Stanford University professor of pediatric medicine, Dr. Yvonne Maldonado.
From looking at the data, it appears that this Pfizer vaccine is very safe, produces good antibody responses, and protects children from symptomatic COVID in ages 5 to 11. So I'm looking for a good outcome from the FDA meeting today.
If the FDA greenlights the shots, the CDC will also need to sign off on it. The White House says it's ready to ship out about 65 million pediatric doses of the vaccine. Western governments condemning Sudan's military takeover, happening 2 years after the country's longtime dictator was ousted. Here's ABC's Connor Finnegan.
The State Department announced on Monday that $700 million in U.S. assistance to Sudan would be paused. That's not humanitarian assistance, but it was money that the U.S. was providing the Sudanese government to aid this transition. So this kind of economic penalty is really meant to give pause to Sudan's military leadership, to make them really reconsider whether or not this is a path that they want to go down, and perhaps bring renewed U.S. sanctions on them. 2
dead, 4 injured at a shopping mall in Boise, Idaho. Lindsay Humphreys, with her young son, was able to get out.
I had him in the stroller, and we kind of just turned around and started running, and then we were just yelling at everybody we could that there was a shooter, and made our way back into JCPenney's and just ran out the back door into the parking lot.
The suspect is now in custody. Leaders at TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube on Capitol Hill today taking questions from senators about youngsters' safety. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen telling British Parliament what she told Congress. The company continues to put profits ahead of people, she says. Facebook reporting its income up 17% in the third quarter. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Strong storms across the country, a nor'easter prompting states of emergency in New York and New Jersey. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Flood watches for the big cities along I-95. Going to be a heavy rain event, possible flooding around New York City, and then lingering wind and rain for New England into midweek.
The storms leaving behind more than a dozen reported tornadoes in Missouri and Illinois. And in California, torrential rain setting off street flooding in the Bay Area, but also raising the level of Lake Oroville, a reservoir, by 20 feet. Fraud in California's unemployment system now hitting $20 billion since the pandemic started. That from state officials. That's more than 10% of all the benefits paid out. With the World Series starting tonight in Houston, ABC's Alex Stone says Major League Baseball is making sure anything that is touted as coming from the field actually really did come from the field.
In the stadium tonight and at every Major League Baseball game will be ex-law enforcement recruited by the league to work as authenticators. They take game-used items that can be sold as memorabilia as they come off the field, authenticate them, and put a hologram on them that links to an online ID where they can be looked up. Michael Posner, Director of Authentication and Memorabilia for Major League Baseball, says without that hologram, what you buy may very well be fake.
If it's on the field, it's going to be authenticated. Bases, broken bats, baseballs, jerseys, pants, caps.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk on the same great 5G coverage as one of those carriers. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family is saving over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250. Say Jill50.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the wrist.
We're tracking breezy conditions for today, all thanks to our area of low pressure and cold front that moved out and brought us rain yesterday. That is clearing out, and we are going to see a lot of sunshine heading into the afternoon and flow out of the northwest. Winds could gust near 30 miles per hour at times. Today, highs will reach the mid-60s and lower 70s, overnight falling into the low to mid-40s. Going to be dry and pleasant for tomorrow with highs in the lower 70s. We do have rain returning again on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It sounds like we're going to have some of all of it the rest of the week. Some rain, some clouds, some sun, some wind, all of it, and some nice temperatures. Getting up to about 66 today, wind gusting to about 24 miles per hour. Right now we're starting our morning at 50 degrees. Our daytime high is 66 degrees. This is WCAB Morning Report here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Now I have these death announcements. Jimmy Hauser, 84, of Golden Valley, died Sunday, October 24th. The funeral will be conducted at 2 o'clock Wednesday, October 27th at First Broad Baptist Church. The visitation will be from 5 until 7 this evening at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services, serving the family of Jimmy Hauser. Rebecca Lynn Owens, age 65, of Elm Street, passed away Wednesday, October 20th, while being cared for at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Services will be announced at a later date. For Rebecca Lynn Owens, Diane Florimo, age 91, of Bostic, passed away Thursday, October 21st, at White Oak Manor in Kings Mountain. A memorial for Diane will be held at a later date in New York, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Diane Florimo of Bostic. Mary Pat Thrift, age 71, of Rutherfordton, died October 18th at her home. Services are to be held at a later date in honor of Mary's life. Mike Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of those arrangements for Mary Pat Thrift. Timothy Tim Mac Chapman, 41, of Bostic, died Sunday, October 24th. The memorial service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Thursday, October 28th at Mount Lebanon Baptist Church. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 Wednesday at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service is serving the family of Timothy Tim Mac Chapman. Mary June Watkins Paget, age 87, of Forest City, died Saturday at her home. The family will hold a private graveside service at Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church Cemetery, and the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory will be serving the family of Mary June Watkins Paget. Margaret Collins Harris, age 74, of Rutherfordton, passed away Sunday, October 24th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. The family will receive friends from 5 until 7 p.m. this evening at Mike Mahan's Funeral Home. The funeral service will be at Long Branch Road Baptist at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. The family has requested masks be worn at all services. Mike Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services is in charge of the arrangements for Margaret Collins Harris. Timothy Tim Mac Chapman, 41, of Bostic, died Sunday, October 24th. The memorial service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Thursday at Mount Lebanon Baptist Church. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 Wednesday at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. For Timothy Mac Chapman. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report on WCAB in Rutherfordton. Braves baseball this evening as they head into the World Series against Houston Astros. 6:50 airtime, 8:09 first pitch. We'll have all that action. And we had a stomping down in Avondale last night as the Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy beat up on Highland Tech 58-0. It was homecoming at Thomas Jefferson, and it was a great night for them there at Avondale. Bill O'Reilly Morning Update coming up next right here on WCAB Rutherfordton.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. Start your due diligence at NRIA.net. Or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at NRIA.net.
On this Tuesday, a question that I am now able to answer is, why do some Americans love wearing COVID masks? Why? Well, over the weekend, I traveled to upstate New York to see some foliage. I drove through the Catskill Mountains, that's Rip Van Winkle territory, and there were no masks. Didn't see any on the folks. But then I crossed the Hudson River and hoteled in Rhinebeck, New York, an old hippie town. Signs on many of the shops there demanded masks, even though there is no mandate in New York State for vaccinated folks. Upon investigation, I learned that many of the shopkeepers are very liberal and believe deeply that mask wearing is noble. It is good for the people who need to be protected by masks. So, the mask wearing from the liberal shopkeepers was virtue signaling. Now, Rip Van Winkle and all the others on the other side of the river prefer fresh air. I am not knocking either side. You're an American. You're free to do whatever you want to do. But virtue signaling is big on the left. Now this. Car repairs often feel like a lose-lose situation. The expensive payments and paperwork feel never-ending. But ever since I called Car Shield, that all gets handled for me. That's a win-win. I just select my favorite mechanic, and Car Shield's administrators do the rest. So get coverage today, and you'll see why Car Shield cars go farther. Please visit carshield.com/bill to save 10%. A deductible may apply. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
100.9 FM and 590 AM. Recommended by 3 out of 4 truck drivers. The fourth one? Well, he just stopped off for coffee.
Boy, you got great taste in music.
This is WCAB.
On October 25, 1921, one of the Old West's best-known pistoleros died. His name was William Barclay Masterson, or was it Bartholomew Masterson? Historians disagree about which is correct, and it seems he changed the story about his name throughout his life. But it doesn't matter because we know him as Bat Masterson. The story of why he was called Bat also varies. Some say it was short for Bartholomew, while others say it was because he would club or bat people over the head with the cane that he always carried. One movie says it was because as a boy he could shoot flying bats out of the air. Although most of his life he was a dapper dresser and sophisticated person, he didn't start out that way. He grew up in a Kansas homesteader family with little education. As a young adult, he went to Dodge City, where he became a buffalo hunter, one of the dirtiest jobs to be had. This is where legend says he became friends with Wyatt Earp. Bat Masterson later followed Wyatt to Tombstone, and he might have been involved in the OK Corral shootout had Bat not left before the shootout to help his brother. Bat Masterson, along with Wyatt Earp, was one of the very few gunfighters to live to a ripe old age. What most people don't know about Bat is that he spent the last years of his life living in New York City, where he became the sports editor of the New York Morning Telegraph. And that's where he died of natural causes while sitting at his desk. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James has added 2 new sandwiches to his already delightful menu, along with the fresh-cooked burgers, sandwiches, fresh salads, hot dogs made to order. Now try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Both come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford, or call 828-447-4644. And Mondays only, hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Braves baseball this evening along with the Houston Astros as they start the first game in the World Series matchup. And we're looking forward to Houston folks in Houston. We have a problem. We're getting beat by the Braves. Let's go to the phones now and find out what's been happening around our territory. And on the phone with me right now is Sheriff Chris Francis. Good morning, Sheriff. How you doing?
I am well. I certainly like what you just said. Hopefully that is the story in Houston.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? I'd love to see them just sweep that whole thing.
It's a long time coming.
Tell us what's been going on in your world.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 210 calls of service. There have been 11 arrests processed in jail, currently in custody of 183. Among those arrested, Mark James Murray Jr., 28-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with injury to property, larceny, and trespassing, and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Joshua Adam Price, 23-year-old male of Ellenborough, was charged with maintaining a vehicle, drug paraphernalia, and trafficking heroin, received a $25,000 secure bond. Derek Wayne Moss Jr., 18-year-old male of Quincy, Florida, was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Later was located on him possession of meth and possession of controlled substance in jail. He received a $16,000 secure bond. Michael Brent Faree, 29-year-old male of Rutherford, charged with possession of firearm by felon, altering the serial number on motor vehicle, possession of meth and possession of Schedule 4, received a $24,500 secure bond. Christopher Mathis McKee, 30-year-old male of Rutherford, charged with 3 counts of failure to comply, received a $1,288 cash bond. Among our incidents, we had possession of meth, possession of Schedule 4 and Schedule 6 drug paraphernalia, Middle Creek Cove. It was 16.4 grams of meth that was located on Michael Brent Faree. He drove up while the SERT team was out attempting to locate him on previous warrants. He drove up in a vehicle known to be him and had those other drugs on him. We had the trafficking opium, maintaining a vehicle of controlled substance and drug paraphernalia on Cooper Line Road. This was Joshua Adam Price. He had 36 fentanyl pills and was taken into custody after a vehicle stop and probable cause located those drugs. We had the carrying concealed gun, possession of meth, controlled substance in jail after a vehicle stop on Sunset Memorial Road. Taurus G3 was taken. Derek Moss Jr. was taken into custody and later found 7.5 grams hidden on his person at the jail he did not let us know about. Jim, that's what we had to report in the last 24 hours.
All right, still pretty busy over that way, sounds like.
Yes, sir. Also had 26.8 pounds of pills collected this past Saturday at our Operation Takeback.
Wow, that's terrific. I'm glad people are turning those things in.
Same here.
How often do they do this pill collecting? Is it about once a quarter, or how often, do you know?
Usually twice a year. We do actually have one at the Senior Center this Thursday as well, though, for the folks that visit the Senior Center.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, it's better to turn them in that way than to flush them down the toilet.
Better for the environment, for sure.
Absolutely. Sheriff, thank you very much for your report today, and you be safe out there. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, the weather certainly cooperated, and homecoming festivities took place last night at the Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy in Avondale. On the football field, the Griffins had no problem shutting out Gastonia Highland Tech 58-0. During a pregame ceremony, Elise Richards was crowned Queen of Clubs. Elise represented the junior Civitans, and she's a daughter of Rebecca Richards and is planning on attending college to major in nursing and become a nurse practitioner. 2 seniors were awarded the titles of Homecoming King and Queen at halftime. John Palmer, the son of Tim and Melissa Palmer, is the new Homecoming King. John is planning to major in chemistry or biochemistry in college with the intention of becoming a medical student. Daria McGinnis was selected as Homecoming Queen. She's the daughter of Jerry and Yasmin McGinnis and is planning to attend the Savannah College of Art and Design to pursue her career goal of becoming an animator. Congratulations to all the students who participated in the homecoming festivities last night at Thomas Jefferson, and congratulations to the ball team for having such a great victory over Highland Tech. Here is Kylie now reporting from 911 Communications Center. Kylie, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office Beaumont Community 401 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 56 for EMS, 210 for the Sheriff's Office, 78 for Forest City, for Lake Lure, 31 for Rutherfordton, 48 for Spindale. Forest City responded to a fire alarm. Rutherfordton responded to a fire alarm. Rutherfordton responded to a motor vehicle accident, and SDA responded to a vehicle fire, and that's all we had.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you being on with us, and you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. 721. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled ARYEE. Let's take it now over in Danieltown, the SDO Fire District. Ruby Taylor's on the phone to give us an update. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on that report this morning?
The fire department had a vehicle fire. On my birthday calendar, I've got Beth Tester, Paul Dobbins, and Tom Green having birthdays today. Hope they have a nice day. And Mr. and Miss Scott Ezel has an anniversary, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the breast today and tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a great day now.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Gary Wilson, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good down there. Jim, you got your trees tied down and everything around your house?
I'll tell you, we may have to do that this afternoon. That wind's supposed to be pretty rough.
Yeah, they said 15 to 25, and maybe gust up to 50, and then gust up to 50 as well. Bring down the trees and power lines, we ain't careful, so we don't get nothing like that.
Did we have enough rain to really soak the ground to make it easy for those trees to pull over or not?
Nah, not much. We had less, I wouldn't even call it a tenth of an inch, probably a trace of that. All we had, a couple of showers came through and turned off clear, and cool and windy this morning. The wind's starting to get up here pretty good right now. And no fire calls overnight. It was foggy last night, though. I was down at Greenville Fire Department at a class till about 9:30, and I left coming home, and from there up to about Pumpkin Center, it was about as thick as I've seen it.
Mm.
It was thick through there, around that river through there. There's always a chance of fog brought up through there, but it was really foggy last night. But the time I got back home, it was pretty good shape around here. The fog wasn't too bad, but it was a stretch down there. It was thick as cut it with a knife. Looked like.
That's not good.
Nope. But other than that, we're quiet and good to go this morning. No fire calls, and hopefully we can say the same thing tomorrow. We'll see what the wind brings today, I guess.
Well, we hope it's going to be a good day for you and everybody around you, and we'll see about tomorrow. We'll call you back.
All right, talk to you then.
Thanks, Gary. Bye-bye. Gary Wilson reporting out of the Fairfield Mountains, Bills Creek community there in the mountains, 725 now.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Check it on Bostic now, Bostic Fire District. Here's DeVern to give us all the news. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great. Glad to be alive.
That's exactly right. It's a very cool morning over here in Bostic this morning. We have 53 degrees. The fire department had one medical call, and asked everyone to go by Bostic Floors for your fall wreath, and she has some Christmas items in.
All right.
Hope everyone has a good day today.
Thank you, DeVern. You enjoy your day as well, and keep us posted, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Well, I first thought we wouldn't be able to carry the series if the Braves got there, but they are opening that up for us. ESPN will be, they have the contract, but we, as affiliates of the Braves, we will be able to carry those games. So if you're not around ESPN or don't have that on your television, be sure to tune in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM for the World Series here on WCAB. Now let's head over to the Hudlow Fire District. Mr. Bob Hodge, good morning.
Well, good Tuesday morning.
How you feeling, Bob?
We're doing just fine up here this morning. A little cool around the edges this morning up here.
Yeah, a little breezy this morning, too.
Well, we had a little windy yesterday afternoon there. It's blowing them leaves off of the trees that was turning there. So we had a little shower of rain yesterday afternoon for it. And then it started cooling off, but looks like it's going to be cool all rest of the week there and be cool for Halloween there.
I believe it is. Yeah, looks like a Saturday night is going to be. Let me look right quick. I can tell you what the temperature expectations are. 45, lows around 45 Saturday night. And wind gusting to about 12 miles per hour. So those little outfits these kids wear, better wrap them up good.
That's right. You had there, but I see you've been wearing your costume there, so.
Yeah, I've been wanting to break it in real good, so it's will be comfortable for me. I try to break it in.
Well, that's the best thing to do. Oh, well, Well, Jim, things are going along good up here this morning. It's been quiet with the fire department. Hadn't had any fire calls overnight, so that's good. And maybe we all will have a quiet day up here, Jim. And that's about it up here. So you take care and have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. Hope you do too. And I will check back in with you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. It's 7:30. You can hear Bob most afternoons, too, with the afternoon call-around report. Keeping us posted on the Hudlow Fire District.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
All right, it's 7:30, and we're circling the county this morning to find out some news. And Sue Price is on the phone with me from the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Let's see what's been happening over there. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
Everything okay?
Everything seems to be going okay.
Good.
Got a pretty morning over here. We had a little rain last night, too, or late yesterday evening, and a good bit of wind, so it's just comes and goes. Let's see. I had no calls from the fire department. Have one birthday on my church calendar for Joan Clark, so I hope Joan's going to have a good day today. She's a sweet lady. And on my personal calendar, I've got our nephew, Andy Price, so I hope Andy's going to have a good day. Nothing on the other calendars for today, no birthdays or anniversaries, so but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Golden Valley Community Club is going to be selling Boston butts with all the fixings. And you can call 828-447-2969 to order. And the pickup will be on November the 20th. And need to order before the November the 6th to get in on this. So that's always a good meal. And I don't have any other announcements I don't know of, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks, Sue. Enjoy your day as well. Be careful over there, and I will see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 32 minutes now past 7 o'clock. What began as a temporary closure for the Rutherford County Rescue has become permanent now. According to an article in the Daily Courier, Rutherford County Rescue informed the county on the 21st, Thursday, that they will continue to cover football games until the end of the season, but are closing their operations indefinitely. They have not run any 911 or non-emergency medical calls since October the 6th, said Kerry Giles, director of the Rutherford County EMS. The County Rescue Squad, a nonprofit and private organization, has previously advised the county's EMS that its closure would be for 14 days, but they have since decided to close indefinitely. Meanwhile, the rescue unit has been covering high school football games instead of any other service calls. Hickory Nut Gorge EMS and Rescue has already announced its closure on October the 8th. A permanent closure of both Rutherford County Rescue and Hickory Nut Gorge, however, might better benefit the county EMS service as it is forced to expand. Plans call for new ambulances will be operational by mid-November. According to Giles, Rutherford County EMS will be adding 2 new additional 24/7 ambulances to replace the one that Rutherford County Rescue provided, as well as the one that Hickory Nut Gorge EMS and Rescue provided. The 2 additional ambulances that Rutherford County EMS is adding will be at the paramedic level, which is higher level of service than what was provided previously by the rescue squads. This will allow for even better coverage and medical response to the county, according to Giles. Meanwhile, the county contacted the North Carolina Office of EMS on October the 11th and requested an ambulance strike teams from Federal Emergency Management Agency. In Rutherford County, EMS learned Friday that 2 ALS, that's Advanced Life Support ambulance teams, will be coming to Rutherford County and should be at the county's disposal for approximately 10 days. Let's go to the drop-in now over in Boston. Drop-in Family Mart. And Gene's on the phone to give us an update. Gene, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Fine. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to talk to you.
Good talking to you. Jess got them lined up. They're over here waiting on their breakfast. We got gravy, biscuits, country ham, bacon and eggs, liver mush, bologna, and fresh coffee, freshly brewed iced tea. And just come on over and help yourself, and be more than happy to serve them. And check out the store. I'm slicing country hams. We're on the roll this morning, Jim.
Man, I'll tell you, food like you guys serve over there's no wonder.
Yes, sir. Like everybody come in and check us out, and like I said, Jess is working like crazy over there, trying to get everybody in and out and help anybody any way we can.
All right, well, it's good to know that things are going well. I know she's busy, always busy there in the deli, and you stay busy with the meat back there as well. And it's just a fun place to shop for groceries and breakfast and lunch.
Yes, sir. And we're looking forward to serving the people, so just come on by and get your breakfast or your lunch, or stop in and get a pizza this afternoon. Have an easy supper for the kids when they get home from school. They'll get it ready for you.
Sounds like a good plan. Gene, thank you very much for your time this morning. I hope you have a great day over there. And tell Jess and everybody else I said hello.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Drop-in Family Mart there in Boston, across from the post office. Always great food, always great service. And you'll be amazed if you've not been to do your grocery shopping how many items you can find there. Just like going to a big grocery store, except it's smaller. And they always treat you with a lot of love, a lot of respect at the Drop-In Family Mart. That's why it has grown to be such a popular place. 36 minutes after 7. Now we're heading over to Shingle Hollow, I believe, right now to check on things from Tina White, see what's been happening in that neighborhood. All right, let's head now up toward the mountains, up the road a little ways, past Green Hill Store and on up and turn right there and then go up to Shingle Hollow. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I am well. Good morning from Shingle Hollow.
Things well and happy up there, huh?
Yes, it's going to be a pretty day. It's a beautiful morning. The sunrise, I'm telling you, it's beautiful this morning. 48 degrees on the front porch. A little cooler than over in Bostic and other places, just a couple degrees. Like I said, it's going to be a beautiful day, my kind of day. We've got birthdays on Piney Knob Baptist Church calendar. Got 3 wonderful ladies, and I hope they have a great day. Marcy Birch, Renita Ashley, and Regina Rhodes. If you know these ladies, call them, tell them happy birthday. Fire departments, both were all quiet. We're thankful for that. Had a little meeting going on over at Green Hill till late last night, but I think they got settled whatever they were working on, had a good meeting, and everything stayed safe and quiet over the past 24 hours. Pilgrim Way Baptist Church is having a 5th Saturday morning youth meeting this Saturday, October 30th at 10 a.m. They invite everyone to come out. There'll be a meal afterwards, so just come out and enjoy that youth meeting. Sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on all over the county Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those last Saturday of the month things. Everybody's getting excited about getting something in and places to go eat and places to have fun. And, of course, it's Halloween Eve, I guess. We could say since Halloween's on the 31st. Everybody celebrates on Saturday night. Just we encourage folks to be careful.
Yeah, everyone be careful. They can go to Union Mills to the Fall Fest. They can go to South Mountain for the trail run, let the kids play. They can come over to the youth meeting at Pilgrim Way Baptist Church. I've heard all kinds of things going on this morning, so it's a busy county. I hope everybody does enjoy the rest of this weekend, the weekend.
And are careful while they're doing it.
Yeah, everybody stay safe.
Tina, thank you very much. You enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. And keep this in mind, too. A 10 revival coming up starting Sunday, October 31st at 6 o'clock. Goes through the November the 5th, Monday, November 1st through Friday, November the 5th at 7 p.m. On Sunday, it starts at 6 o'clock at Restoration Church, 133 Garden Brook Drive, Forest City. And it's going to be one of those nice tent set up there with Tent Revival with Pastor Paul Lane II and Dr. Keith Barnett involved in this. And you're invited to bring your group over on Sunday night and get together with your family and friends and enjoy the Tent Revival. This message is sponsored by Gilkey Lumber Company, Green Hill Store, Great Finds Consignment, Hawkins Tire Company, and Fat Traces. And the Tent Revival, again, those dates start Sunday, October 31st at 6 o'clock, then Monday through Friday from 1st to the 5th at 7 o'clock at Restoration Church. All right, let's head up toward Union Mills. Brenda Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this terrific Tuesday morning?
It's turning in to be a beautiful day, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And so I am glad to know that it's going to be a beautiful day. But we had a real hard downpour rain late yesterday evening. Did y'all?
We had a shower. It wasn't that heavy. As a matter of fact, the sun was shining on one end of where I live, and it's raining on the other end. So I don't. It was great, kind of crazy. So.
Well, it rained pretty hard here for about, 5 or 10 minutes, and then I looked out and the sun was shining just as bright, and I said, "Oh well, the Lord knows we needed that little drink of water."
I guess we do. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've got 46 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries in ways of announcements. On Saturday, October the 30th, Gilkey School Community Center will have a drive-through trick-or-treat from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then on that same day, the 30th, their coat closet will be open from 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon for children and adults. And they do have some blankets and other items to help you stay warm. And then we got a fall fest at the Mills, October the 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is at the Old Union Mills School. They have 60-plus vendors, food trucks, family fun. Come and support small businesses. And then on November the 5th, Winging It will be at the Union Mills Learning Center. The music starts at 7 p.m. They have a meal available beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And I think that's got me covered. So,
all right. That's
got a lot going on.
Sound like a plan. Go ahead.
Got a lot going on for the children.
Yes.
For the trick or treat or whatever drive through up there.
Are you going trick or treating?
No. I'm a little bit old for that. If I had some children to take, I'd take them, but I ain't got no children to take, so there you are. So
it's been a long time since I went out trick or treating too. My dad was never a big fan of that, so we didn't get to do it very much.
Well, we didn't either. I remember one time going trick-or-treating, and I might have been like 10 or 11 years old, and I can remember getting smut out of the old potbelly stove and putting it on my face like rouge, and then I put on an old straw hat and a pair of my brother's blue jeans and a flannel shirt, and I went trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
That was the only time I ever remember going.
Years ago, they used to do those kind of things, give out a lot of things. You never worried about things being implanted in fruit or implanted in candy. People could get that candy and enjoy. Now you have to worry about people putting stuff in there.
Nowadays, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's awful. And you don't know when somebody decides they're going to pull out a gun and shoot you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But I don't know of anything else going on, so I guess you better go to Ellenburg and check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan.
I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too also. Catch you later.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
And we're stopping next over in Ellenboro and talk with the man about town, Mr. Luther Gilligan. Good morning.
Good morning, you two. Hope you're having a good day.
My day's off to a great start. How about yours?
I'm doing good. Just sitting here watching the trees sway back and forth, drinking coffee.
Yeah.
A little breezy and cool out there this morning. But hey, it'll warm up a little bit. The winds will die down a day or two, and we'll be back to normal. We ain't pick up much. May have some trees down, power lines down, so be ready for that. But right now it's quiet, not a whole lot going on. I see the fire department had one medical call yesterday. Got one about 6:20 this morning, but got it taken care of. So now they sat back and enjoyed a cup of coffee this morning, and nothing else going on down here. So you have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Keep us posted, and we'll see you then.
All right, take care now.
Bye. It's time now for birthdays and anniversaries for this 26th of October. Month's running out. Birthdays in October are now few. So call us if you're celebrating today, 287-3356, 287-3356, and we'll celebrate your birthday, your anniversary, right here with the big old shout-out, 287-3356.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Of course, you know Granny B's serves those delicious daylight donuts every morning and throughout the day. You also knew they got a great sub-lunch. You also know that they now serve in pizza, but now they're also doing breakfast. Yes, great biscuits, great sausage and gravy biscuits, hash browns, ham, bacon, sausage, liver mush, the egg, and all those trimmings. Coffee, you can add some cheese to your breakfast if you like. You can eat it in or call it to go out. 286-9012 is the phone number. They opened at 6:30 this morning, so if you're hungry, want to try something different, try Granny B's breakfast. Biscuits like you like them. Granny B's, they're in Spindale right beside the Shake Shop.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Tom Green, 72, semi-retired, and retired DJ from right here, and now coming back doing some volunteer work for us. So happy birthday, Tom. Other birthdays across the nation, including Mahalia Jackson, who had a birthday on this date. She was born in 1911, died in 1972. Jackie Coogan, actor Festus from the Addams Family. He died in 1984, born in 1914. 1946, Pat Sajak was born. Hillary Rodham Clinton has a birthday today. She was born in 1947. And Keith Urban, country singer, 1967, born on this date. Some of the events leading up to today was 1492 was lead pencils was first used. 1881, gunfight at OK Corral. 1940, P-51 Mustang makes its first flight. 1954, on this date, Chevrolet unveils the V8 engine. 1970, Doonesbury, comic debut in 28 papers across the nation. 1993, on this date, NFL announced expansion team Carolina Panthers. So there we are on this date. You're up to date now on this important date in history. Stand by now. Keys to Confident Living coming up. And then we'll have some classic oldies to take you down memory lane, all right here on the Morning Wake Up Call.
On a small river in Italy, a lumberman was observed jabbing his sharp hook into a log, separating it from the other logs that were floating downstream. A curious onlooker questioned why some logs were separated from the others when they all looked alike. The lumberman explained that while all the logs looked alike to the untrained eye, there was a lot of difference in the grade of the wood. Many of the logs were from trees that had grown in the valley, where they had always been protected from the harsh storms. But the separated logs had grown high up in the mountains, where they had been buffeted by strong winds. The lumberman added, "This toughens the trees and gives them a fine and beautiful grain. We save them for choice work." How many times have you wanted to get away from the buffeting and storms of life? If you have children, you may have often commented that you did not want your children to have it as hard as you did. You know storms can be painful and stressful. However, it is through winds of adversity that character is developed. The Bible says, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that your faith develops perseverance, which then leads to maturity." Rather than seeking to avoid all the difficulties of life, ask God to help you grow and develop through them. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Also, I want to wish a happy birthday to Lynn Roper, celebrating today.
No silly giggling, no screaming and yelling, no vulgar language, and no put-downs. We're up, live, and family-friendly. We are WCAB Radio, serving your family 24 hours a day.
Across the country, some major storms are making the morning commute difficult. On the West Coast, torrential rain and strong winds toppling trees. 2 people killed in Washington State. On the East Coast, flash flooding and wind. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is in New Rochelle, New York.
It's going to hang around throughout the morning hours tomorrow with strong winds, potentially damaging winds. You've got heavy rain saturating the ground. The leaves are still on the trees here, so any big-time wind will probably get 40, 50, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Will take down some trees and power lines. This is all coming from the energy of the system that brought nearly 20 tornadoes in Missouri and parts of the Midwest over the last 2 days. This has been a coast-to-coast system.
An FDA advisory panel is expected to vote today on approval of the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. If enough kids get the shot, says Stanford University professor of pediatric medicine, Dr. Yvonne Maldonado.
I think we're getting close to the time when transmission rates are low, vaccination rates can be high, and we can start thinking about getting rid of masks. But I would love to see the vaccination numbers go up, especially in those younger kids who should be having vaccines available soon.
The CDC has the final say if the FDA approves. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen telling members of British Parliament the same thing she told members of Congress, that the company, in her opinion, puts profits over people. And at Facebook, profits have been up.
The big picture here is that all these revelations, these reports about how Facebook is harming society, that's so far, at least, they are not rattling investors. Facebook reported better than expected earnings for its third quarter. CEO Mark Zuckerberg was on the company's earnings call really touting user growth and touting the bottom line. And we did see daily active users in the U.S. and in Canada actually go up in the third quarter for the first time in more than a year.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, leaders from Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube will be on Capitol Hill today talking about safeguarding underage users. You're listening to ABC News.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're paying too much for cell service. It's Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. I know what you're thinking. How do they do that? Pure Talk doesn't have thousands of retail stores and overhead that you have to pay for. And they don't charge you for the added perks that you never use. You can keep your phone number and keep your phone or get huge discounts on the latest iPhones and Androids. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless.
The White House again blocking requests by former President Trump to invoke executive privilege. The former president has been trying to stop the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot from getting papers from the National Archives. But the company did agree to defer some requests at the urging of the Biden administration. Police in Houston are still trying to figure out why 3 children were left to live alone in an apartment apparently for months, along with the corpse of another brother. ABC's Jim Ryan has the latest.
Investigators say the oldest child, a 15-year-old boy, spent his days asking for food from neighbors, including Erica Chapman, who says she had no idea what was happening a few doors down.
I think he was more nervous and scared. Hey, are they going to blame me for this? Are my parents going to punish me for this?
Police say the teen would take whatever food he could find back to his 7- and 10-year-old siblings. A 9-year-old boy died months ago and was left in one room. Police have located and questioned the parents but have not yet filed charges. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Kellogg's is now offering to restart talks with workers who have been on strike since early this month. About 1,400 employees walked out of the 4 of the cereal makers' plants across the country. And get ready for an expensive Thanksgiving. Analysts now say supply chain issues, inflation, and other factors are combining to likely make this year's Thanksgiving feast the priciest ever, led by record prices for turkey. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Twin-sea temperatures today reached the mid-60s and lower 70s with a strong flow out of the northwest, allowing our temperatures to be on the cooler side. It's going to also be a breezy one with winds gusting near 30 miles per hour at times. As we head into tonight, will be dry. Temperatures will fall into the low to mid-40s. Highs will be slightly warmer for tomorrow in the lower 70s. Rain making a comeback on Thursday. We could see some severe storms as well. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
50 degrees, and it's going to be cloudy today, and it's going to be windy today. We may have a little sun later on, but right now it's cloudy out there. Wind gusting to 24 miles per hour expectations today, so tie the old kangaroo down, boys. It's going to be windy. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock here on Tuesday morning, and Andrew Tisdale's in here in the Blue Room. We're going to have him talk in just a few moments, but I'm going to give you a chance to win a couple of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show in Charlotte, which is right upon us, believe it or not. If you'd like to go to the Southern Christmas Show and can go, and we'll pick up your tickets here if you'll be the correct caller with this correct answer. The question is this: what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? If you know the answer to that, be the first to call with the correct answer. You got yourself a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. Again, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? If you know the answer, call 287-3356, and you got yourself a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. Good morning, Andrew Tisdale.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good.
You look like you rested up today.
I feel a whole lot better today than I did last Tuesday.
Well, we're glad it's going well for you.
Well, thank you.
Let me turn this microphone up so we can hear you. It's good to have your mic on if I talk to you, isn't it?
Well, I could hear you.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got a lot of other people to consider on this.
Let me see if you can be seen. Let me flip the mic around. The camera around so everybody can see you on monitor.
Yeah, somebody really special to me told me he tried to see me the other day, and he said I couldn't. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. He said, no, it's better.
What you got on your mind today?
Let's talk about short-term investments. Generally speaking, investing is a long-term process. You invest in your IRA and 401k to reach these long-term goals. But that's not the only type of investing there is. There is also a place in your entire financial picture for short-term investments. So what are the reasons? You have 3 good reasons for owning short-term investments. One is liquidity. Liquidity meaning you can get it right now. Diversification, it helps actually to shield the from market losses. And the protection of longer-term investing. In other words, if I have some short-term investments that I've saved up and some big event happens and I need the funds immediately, I don't have to borrow from my 401k and actually take 3 steps back on my long-term picture. So what are the short-term investments? Think about it from what most of us have. We have a savings account or a checking account. A lot of people that I've been talking to are frustrated with these rates. They look at their bank account statement, they see that they not lost anything, but they're not gaining maybe a dime a month or 25 cents a month. You know, you got to wait 3.5 months or 4 months before you can even go buy a drink with your earnings on that. So what else is out there? Other short-term investments that may be less liquid but may not be a major concern if you don't need the money at that moment, at that time, is something called a mutual fund bond, especially an ultra short-term bond fund. Now, I'm not saying a bond, I'm saying a bond fund. Let's back up for a second. What does that mean? A mutual fund is a lot of stocks wrapped into one fund. An ultra short-term bond fund is many bonds wrapped up together. So you don't have to wait till that bond yields or gets called to be able to get your principal back. You can put it in today and get it out tomorrow if you need to. They're very risk adverse. They provide you a lot more income than what is the money markets and the actual checking accounts are. And they are pretty liquid. For example, if you need it, if you was at my office and you had some short-term bonds and you said, Andrew, I need this money, my comment is I'll have it to you in 3 days. That's how quick it can be moved. What's another short-term? Right now, there are some good, solid 3-month CDs available. If you don't need this money within a 3-month time frame, would you rather get 1.5% or 2% or 0.08 at the bank? Think about things like that. Every dollar counts. Every step counts at getting you to your long-term goal. And that way, too, if you put it in a short-term investment, you're actually saving and protecting your long-term goals.
Makes sense. Makes sense. If folks just have any questions, be sure to contact Andrew Tisdale, Financial Advisor with Edward Jones. You'll find him at 173 Railroad Avenue there in the Pooh Line Shopping Center. That phone number is 287-9197. You could also pull him up on the web at edwardjones.com. His personal email is andrew.tisdale@edwardjones.com.
That's it.
Is that about it?
That's about it. Yep.
It's always good to see you, man.
It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next week.
Enjoy the rest of the week.
I will. Have a great day.
You too. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock here this morning. We do have a winner from our question that we asked a moment ago. And the question was, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? If you were the first to call with the correct answer, you got yourself a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. Well, the answer to the question is the same middle name. What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? Same middle name. That's the answer to the question. And Ann Paget was the first to call in with that answer. So, Ann, we'll hold a couple of tickets over here for you. Be sure to stop by and pick those up. Ann Paget, the winner this morning of the tickets to the Southern Christmas Show.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts. Christmas at your fingertips.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Explore a woodland Christmas with forest-inspired decorations for the merriest time of year, and shop hundreds of booths to find one-of-a-kind gifts for everyone on your list. Buy tickets online and save at southernChristmasShow.com.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
And that's coming up here really soon. Boy, I tell you, can you believe it's almost November already? But it is. And that's when they do the Christmas show. 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, your opportunity to brighten up things this year is here, too. Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce reverse raffle is taking place now. Only 500 tickets will be sold, and you could win $8,000 or $1,500 or $500. 3 winners, and tickets are available now at the Chamber office, Main Street, Rutherfordton. Here at WCAB, our Chamber board members have them. And I have them right here, and I'll be glad to accommodate you and make sure you get some tickets that you need. The drawing will be held December the 17th, live on WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM at 8:10 in the morning, and we'll also live stream that. Be a part of supporting the Chamber with your package and your purchase of reverse raffle ticket. Tickets are $50, and chances of winning $8,000 or $1,500 or $500 are phenomenal. So have fun, buy a ticket, and listen for the winning number December 17th at 8:10. You know what? You could be the winner of that. Any amount of that money, we hope you'll support the Chamber and take a chance on those tickets. Other news from here and there this morning, the public is getting multiple chances this week to tell North Carolina legislators what they think about U.S. House and General Assembly district boundary proposals that lawmakers have been drawing. The House and Senate redistricting committees scheduled 4 hearings over Monday and Tuesday to take input on maps that Republicans and Democrats have created. It's the next step before the legislature begins voting on the plans, which are based on the 2020 census population figures. Public hearings will be held in Raleigh both afternoons with 2 remote sites from each session. Those other locations are Wilmington and Lenore on Monday and Greenville and Charlotte on Tuesday. In addition, there will be separate online-only hearings late Monday and Tuesday. Potential speakers for all 4 meetings were told to sign up in advance online. The legislature is aiming to enact by early November new maps for use starting with next year's election. So that may change the complexion of how we vote in the places we vote and who our congressman might happen to be. Well, one of the scariest effects of Halloween is the increased likelihood of drunken driving following seasonal parties. The North Carolina Highway Patrol will be conducting the Booze It and Lose It Halloween statewide enforcement campaign this week. The campaign runs from Monday, October 25th through Sunday, October 31st. It's now underway and zeroes in on impaired drivers through innovative and extensive enforcement and education, including law enforcement patrols in all North Carolina counties. The Halloween season is a busy one for crashes in North Carolina. In October of last year, 33 people died and 83 were seriously injured in alcohol-related crashes statewide. So far in North Carolina in 2021, there have been 271 alcohol-related fatalities, a decrease of 23% from this time last year. In 2020, 435 people were killed and 908 were seriously injured in alcohol-related crashes. Mark Ezel, director of the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program, said Booze It and Lose It enforcement and education campaigns play a big part in getting impaired drivers off of our roadways and discourage reckless behaviors that puts everyone's safety in jeopardy. Seems to me, it seems common sense to me not to get intoxicated and get behind the wheel of a car. It's common sense tells you not to do that, but once you drink too much, you lose your common sense sometimes. Well, Sonia Brown continued to spread her message of hope for those who are experiencing domestic violence. On Saturday, she hosted an event at Hardin Road Park in Forest City to feed the hungry and provide information about domestic violence. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. For Sonia, it is a subject that's on her mind year-round. Sonia experienced domestic violence when she was a high school student involved in what became a toxic relationship. A few years later, her sister, Christina Brown Palmer, was murdered by her estranged husband. The memory of Christina helps keep Sonia motivated and passionate about helping others. She knows how too often domestic violence can end with lives lost. If you know anybody in a domestic bad relationship like that, domestic violent relationship, please get them some help and let some folks know if it's law breaking, then let the law know about it and let them put them away. Well, the holiday season is fast approaching. According to an article Scott Carpenter wrote in the Courier, and officials with the Rutherford County Department of Social Services are growing anxious. Funds are running low, and donations are needed to support children and youth in the foster care systems for Christmas. While the numbers can fluctuate from month to month, DSS now has approximately 150 children and youth in its care. This Christmas season, they are once again asking for help in bolstering the Child Welfare Fund. The fund is primarily supported through donations from employees and is running low. These funds are used to not only help pay expenses with foster children, but also with families and children receiving in-home services. In-home services are services offered to families to develop children to stay out of foster care. Well, the weather certainly cooperated, and homecoming festivities took place last night at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy in Avondale. On the football field, the Griffins had no problem shutting out Gastonia Highland Tech by a score of 58-0. During a pregame ceremony, Elise Richards was crowned Queen of Clubs. Elise represented the Junior Civitans. She is the daughter of Rebecca Richards and is planning on attending college to major in nursing and become a nurse practitioner. Two seniors were awarded the titles of Homecoming King and Queen at halftime. John Palmer, the son of Tim and Melissa Palmer, is the new Homecoming King. John is planning to major in chemistry or biochemistry in college with the intention of becoming a medical scientist. Daria McGinnis was selected as Homecoming Queen. She is the daughter of Jerry and Yasmin McGinnis and is planning to attend Savannah College of Art and Design to pursue her career goal of becoming an animator. Congratulations to all the students who participated in homecoming activities, football team as well as the homecoming court. Congratulations on a job well done. 18 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, we have the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Chris Francis coming up here in just a few moments.
It's time to dust off your running shoes and hiking boots because South of the Mountain Trail Run is coming up on October 30th at South Mountain Christian Camp. Featuring rolling hills, wooded trails, and the grassy shoreline along our lake, the 3-mile South of the Mountain Trail Run offers a wide variety of challenges for runners and walkers of all skill levels in one of the most beautiful settings around. Awards will be presented to the top finishers in each age category. The runner's pack will include free race shirt and a drawstring backpack if you sign up by October 17th. There will also be a free fun run for the kids and supervised activities for them during the race. South of the Mountain Trail Run is sponsored in part by AE Global Media. Don't miss out on Saturday, October 30th at South Mountain Christian Camp. Visit southmountain.run for more information or call 245-3322. That's southmountain.run or call 245-3322.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford. Gregory's Original.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recalled devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591.
No silly giggling, no screaming and yelling, no vulgar language, and no put-downs. We're up, live, and family-friendly. We are WCAB Radio, serving your family 24 hours a day.
Sheriff's Report coming up in just a few moments. You may have heard, those of you who follow bluegrass music, that Sonny Osborne, half of the Osborne brothers who first recorded Rocky Top, passed away. Born in Hyden, Kentucky, Osborne leaves a lasting impression on the bluegrass music world. The banjoist joined forces with his brother Bobby to form the Osborne Brothers Band in 1953, and 3 years later the Osborne Brothers released their debut recording that included Once More, a track that Grendel Opry says changed the customary arrangement of trio harmony parts in bluegrass music. He's a genius on the banjo and loved to sing. His written by tune in 1960. The brothers also had hits like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Midnight Flyer, Tennessee Hound Dog, Making Plans, and Up This Hill and Down. Sonny Osborne was the chief, said Kyle Young, CEO, Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. He somehow played with both ferocity and humor, and those things were essential elements of his musicality and his personality. Though he was a staunch advocate for traditional bluegrass, his banjo style moved the genre forward and allowed bluegrass music to reach new audiences. He was also an innovative harmony singer and was loved by many. To suffer the loss of Sonny Osborne, brother to the Osborne brothers. Now it's 23 past the hour. Sheriff Chris Francis was with us earlier on the morning report to give us a report from his department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 210 calls of service. There have been 11 arrests, processed county jail, currently in custody of 183. Among those arrested, Mark James Murray Jr., 28-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with injury to property, larceny, and trespass and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Joshua Adam Price, 23-year-old male of Ellenborough, was charged with maintaining a vehicle, drug paraphernalia, and trafficking heroin, received a $25,000 secured bond. Derek Wayne Moss Jr., 18-year-old male of Quincy, Florida, was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Later was located on him possession of meth and possession of controlled substance in jail. He received a $16,000 secured bond. Michael Brent Faree, 29-year-old male of Rutland, charged with possession of firearm by felon, altering the serial number on a motor vehicle, possession of meth and possession of Schedule 4, received a $24,500 secured bond. Christopher Mathis McKee, 30-year-old male of Rutland, charged with 3 counts of failure to comply, received a $1,288 cash bond. Among our incidents, we had a possession of meth, possession of Schedule 4 and Schedule 6 drug paraphernalia, Miller Creek Cove. It was 16.4 grams of meth that was located on Michael Brent Faree. He drove up while the SERP team was out attempting to locate him on previous warrants. He drove up in a vehicle known to be him and had those other drugs on him. We had the trafficking opium, maintaining the vehicle from controlled substance and drug paraphernalia on Cooper Line Road. This was Joshua Adam Price. He had 36 fentanyl pills and was taken into custody after a vehicle stop. Probable cause located those drugs. We had the carrying a concealed gun, possession of meth, controlled substance in jail after a vehicle stop on Sunset Memorial Road. Taurus G3 was taken. Derek Moss Jr. was taken into custody and later found 7.5 grams hidden on his person at the jail he did not let us know about.
Says, yeah, we've won all the games, but as far as everyone's saying, the game they just finished, last night's game being the best one of the season?
Yeah, I think probably overblown. I mean, I don't know if it was our best game. I thought it was, actually, I thought our first period was the best period we played, and we were down 1-0, so it was kind of weird how the game kind of went that way. But this group so far works hard. I mean, they're going to work hard every night. I mean, we still got some areas to clean up, which is, it's good that we're finding ways to win. We're making big plays. Like, that's what we're getting now. It's like kind of individual effort goals. That's great. You got to have those.
To the NFL and Monday Night Football, where the Saints beat the Seahawks to wrap up Week 7 of the schedule. Brian Johnson kicked a 33-yard field goal with 1:56 to go in his NFL debut. New Orleans capitalized on a series of mistakes and beat the Seahawks in Seattle 13-10. In Charlotte on Monday, Panthers head coach Matt Rule talked about how they plan to move forward from Sunday's poor outing against the Giants and how they plan to fix things before going against Atlanta this weekend. Namely, are they still going to stick with Sam Darnold, who was benched on Sunday?
Sam will start at quarterback this week. I think how he responds this week is going to be important for him and to our team. And I think I made the right decision yesterday, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't good enough. And when you're the quarterback, it has to be good enough, and it wasn't good enough. And so back to this week, we want to go 1-0 this week against Atlanta. Sam will be our quarterback, and he needs to have a great week, and he needs to play better. And I'm sure he'll be the first to say that to you. I'm sure he didn't like yesterday. Hopefully it makes him stronger and a better quarterback.
Asked if there is any weight to the rumors about the Panthers making a play for Deshaun Watson before the trade deadline, Coach Rule said that he has not been involved in any of that. In the NBA, Jason Tatum scored a season-high 41 points, and the Celtics handed the Hornets their first loss of the season, 140-129 in overtime. This is NCN Sports.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops in 2020 and 2021. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Hey, I'm Katie Webster with North Carolina Emergency Management. Severe weather can happen throughout the year in North Carolina. You can protect yourself and your loved ones by being prepared. Have a family emergency plan. Assemble an emergency kit with a 3-day supply of non-perishable food and water. Download an emergency alert app, have a weather alert radio, and listen to local weather reports. Go to readync.org for more severe weather safety tips. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety.
Tonight is Game 1 of the World Series between the Braves and Astros at Houston's Minute Maid Park.
Everything is set for tonight's World Series opener here in Houston. The Astros are very familiar with this. This is the Astros' third World Series appearance in the last 5 seasons. The Astros won the World Series in 2017. For the Atlanta Braves, though, not much recent World Series experience. The last time the Braves were in the World Series was in 1999.
Wednesday temperatures today reached the mid-60s and lower 70s with a strong flow out of the northwest, allowing our temperatures to be on the cooler side. It's going to also be a breezy one with winds gusting near 30 miles per hour at times. As we head into tonight, we'll be dry. Temperatures will fall into the low to mid-40s. Highs will be slightly warmer for tomorrow in the lower 70s. Rain making a comeback on Thursday. We could see some severe storms as well. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
53 degrees, currently cloudy skies, some wind expected to be blowing here pretty soon. We have some wind expectations, but gusting up to about 24 miles per hour. It's already been blowing in some sections. Gary Wilson talked about how strong it was up there in the Fairfield area. So we may get some more of that here. So, yeah, I see the wind tipping the trees across the road over there now. So we're experiencing some of those breezy conditions. Tonight, 37, back down to 37 for the overnight low. That's kind of chilly tonight. Wind gusting to about 14 miles per hour, which is going to make it feel even colder than that. And we're back up to 70 tomorrow, 46 tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, about 49 degrees again. Weekend looks pretty good for us. Weekend looks pretty good. And Padgett won a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show a moment ago by answering the question correctly. My question was, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? And the answer to the question was the same middle name, Winnie the Pooh and Alexander the Great. That was she knew the answer, that it was the middle name. So there you go. All right, let me see if I can do another right quick. Here's these are just sort of flighty kind of things. The answer has to be what I have down. It could be any number of things, but the answer I have down. I'll give away 2 more tickets, Todd. What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? The first to call in with the correct answer wins 2 tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? And if you know the answer, be the first to call at 287-3356. You got yourself a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show coming up here this next month. So there you go. 287-3356 is the number to call. Well, country music star Travis Trent, who has come under fire for refusing to perform in venues where unvaccinated people can't come to enjoy his shows, he told Newsweek Monday he was honored to sing the national anthem Saturday night before the Atlanta Braves clinched their place in the World Series, and he's glad the Braves didn't cave in on cancel culture as well. It's always a tremendous honor, he said, and I was just so thrilled that the Braves contacted me on Friday and asked me if I could come in and sing the national anthem on Saturday for the game that turned out to be the clincher for the Braves. I've been a lifelong Braves fan my entire existence, he said, so it was really a good thrill and a great honor for me. Several in the mainstream media, including the Washington Post and USA Today, questioned the Braves' decision to invite Travis Trent, a hometown hero, to sing before the game. He insisted, though, that his decision was more about being a Braves fan all his life and was about singing the anthem for his hometown team. Trent told Newsmax, I stand for people having the freedom of choice. When it comes to the vaccines, obviously you're going to take a lot of grief for that, and I have, but I've also got a tremendous amount of support, which is extremely encouraging to me because this is something that we can't do alone, and we're going to preserve our freedoms of this country and our freedom of choice. Trent said he got a tremendous amount of support after singing at the game by people who told him that he did a great job performing and by fans who said they appreciated his stand for freedom. Trent said that really means a lot because obviously there's a tremendous amount of support out there for opposing these mandates. Trent noted that he decided to take his stand against performing in venues with vaccine mandates after his fans contacted him to let him know they'd already bought their tickets for venues that had already been booked well ahead of time. He said, it just let me know that, I've got to stand up and I'm going to say something and I've got to do something. So I did cancel some shows where the mandates were in place, Trent said. It's a financial hit to me, but it pales in comparison to the financial hit that so many people that work in all different jobs took, from nurses to doctors to airline pilots to even people in our military. There are so many people that are getting pushed out of their jobs because of these mandates, and I think that's just ridiculous. So Travis Trent canceled shows because the venues were mandating that everybody be vaccinated. And he says that's not right, so he canceled some of those shows. And he was proud of the Braves because they didn't bow to the woke culture either. They pulled the games out of Atlanta because of their position on voter rights and require that people have voter ID. So Atlanta did, and so in their wisdom, they pulled the games out, the All-Star game out of Atlanta. So there you go. So Travis Trent says enough of that foolishness. All right, we've had a winner on the Southern Christmas Show tickets this morning. Giving away a pair of tickets. The question was this: What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? Well, Linda Reynolds knew that it gets towed away. It gets towed away. What happens to a frog when its car breaks down? It gets towed away. Well, you know, what can I say? Linda Reynolds knew the answer to that, so she's got herself a pair of tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. And Ann Padgett also won a pair earlier when the question was, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? Their middle name. So we'll have some fun with those tickets. I've got several to give away. Not many, but we'll give away some and give you a chance to win some more tickets like we used to. It's glad the shows are back and glad we can give you a chance to win those tickets. And we'll do some crazy stuff, and we'll do some things that aren't so crazy to give you a chance to win tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. Well, as you know, if you're alert and alive and well, that coming up this weekend is where people are celebrating the Halloween thing. Never been big into it, but a lot of people are. It's a big thing, big business thing across the world, and a lot of folks make a lot of money off of it. Warning issued for overly gendered Halloween costume is out right now. According to WorldNet Daily, there should be no hobos or rednecks, and blackface is offensive. The Anti-Defamation League has posted online instructions for parents on how to make certain Halloween costumes for the children not overly gendered. Now, we got the Anti-Defamation League telling us how we should run our lives. Now, whether or not you like Halloween or don't like Halloween, ever how you want to dress your kids up or they want to dress up, of course, makes sure it's decent. But the Anti-Defamation League are posting instructions for parents on how to make Halloween costumes for the children not overly gendered. Girl costumes predominantly focus on dresses and being pretty, such as princesses or fairies. Even superhero costumes for girls include skirts instead of the more practical pants for crime fighting is one of the warnings included in the list of no-nos. A commentary at the Gateway Pundit explained, the Anti-Defamation League was founded in 1913 in response to an escalating climate of anti-Semitism and bigotry. The organization was historically a leading voice against anti-Semitism in America, but not today. It called the costume guide by the ADL ridiculous. The guide also railed against the typical offensive costumes that use cultural appropriation or cultural stereotypes. On social media, the ADF warned Halloween is a week away, and you and your family might be brainstorm costume ideas. Check out our resource for reminders about how and why to avoid cultural appropriation, cultural stereotypes, and costumes that perpetuate gender norms. They're telling you how you should dress your kids for Halloween, folks, and how much more do they want to control our lives? They're already telling us what we should and shouldn't do in terms of our health. The ADL teaches, quote, many children and their families don't realize that their costume choices are potentially hurtful or offensive. For example, a child who may be interested in Native American stories and history wants to dress up as a Native American person. Consider it an opportunity to talk with them about how Native American dress is not a costume. Instead, it is an essential part of identity, unique to each different tribe with their own customs and ways of dress. So if you want to honor the Native Americans and dress up like an Indian, they're saying don't do that. The Anti-Defamation League says don't do that. Dress the way we want you to dress. It also warns blackface is offensive, and dressing like a Mexican generalizes a group of people. Also, no hobos or rednecks, as those costumes depict people from low-income households. And the instructions say to make certain that little boys and girls know their choice of costumes may be hurtful. Many children are attracted to traditional gendered costumes. Think girls who love princesses or boys who are obsessed with action heroes. When that is the case, it is best not to reinforce that these are the only appropriate options available. Engage in conversations with young people about gender stereotypes and discusses messages that companies send through marketing and advertising. Teachers are told to learn about their students' religious beliefs before introducing Halloween topics. So let's find out what they want us to do, what they would like for us to wear, and dress the way they want to dress, so we won't offend anybody. Look, if you're so easily offended by somebody dressing like Pocahontas, or if you're easily offended by somebody dressing like whatever, if you're going to be offended by it, then go to your room and lock the door and pull down the blinds and turn off the lights. I mean, come on, folks. We got to get real about being so offended about everything. I mean, there's certain things we need to do and understand that we need to respect people, but good gracious, telling kids they shouldn't dress like a princess because it might offend somebody, or kids shouldn't dress up like their hero because it might offend somebody. If you're that offended, then you got a serious problem about your personality and your head and heart. So don't send them out there on a night like Halloween if they're offended. I mean, put them in the room, give them some candy, and tell them to pull down the shades and turn off the lights and eat the candy, and they won't be offended. I mean, come on, it's getting a little bit ridiculous. A little bit ridiculous. Well, let's see what else we got here. "20 minutes till 9 o'clock, 9:05 this morning is My Great America with Jim and Butch. Always interesting concept of what's good about America. There are a lot of things good. We sometimes spotlight some of the bad negatives and the scars and the blemishes that's on the attitude of people's minds on this segment, because you need to be aware of that everything is not one-sided. Because the Anti-Defamation League says you kids shouldn't wear a certain costume for Halloween night because you'll be a bad parent, as long as it's in good taste and they can see and people can be seen and reflective, and they're not going to be walking in the dark where they can't be seen, then fix them up, let them wear their costume. Good gracious. Casper the Friendly Ghost going to offend somebody? Good gracious. Well, here's the story from the WorldNet Daily, published September the 11th. National File has obtained a recording of a Zoom video conference call between physicians and a marketing director at Novet Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center. That's a group of 20 hospitals, clinics, and offices that treat patients in North Carolina and South Carolina. In the recording, Mary Rudick, the medical doctor, tells Director of Marketing Carolyn Fisher and another hospital employee that she wants the hospitals to become more scary to the public by inflating the number of COVID-19 patients and by using messaging that falsely tells individuals, if you don't get vaccinated, you know you're going to die. Mary, medical doctor, tells the Director of Marketing, Carolyn Fisher, and another hospital employees that she wants the hospital to become more scary to the public. Scare them. Tell them if they don't get vaccinated, they're going to die. In the clip, Fisher seems confused by questions raised by Rudick regarding how COVID-19 patients are counted. After Fisher explains this process, Rudick asserts that the hospitals should become scary in their messaging about COVID-19, inflate their total numbers of COVID-19 patients by counting those who have recovered, and suggest that people would die without taking one of the controversial COVID-19 vaccines. I don't know why they're so obsessed with this, folks. Well, I think I do, but I can't verify that. But they want the medical profession to keep us in fear and tell us we're going to die if we don't follow their instructions. Republican Representative Nicole Malintakis of New York said Biden exceeded his executive authority with the mandate which relies upon a liberal interpretation of the rulemaking powers of the Department of Labor. Just like Mayor Bill de Blasio has, President Biden is inappropriately mandating businesses to serve as his vaccine police force, requiring that they mandate their employees to be vaccinated, tested weekly, or face hefty fines. This mandate is a condition of employment in both the public and private sectors, is wrong, infringes on the rights and freedoms of Americans, and strays from the government's role of informing, educating, and encouraging. This overreach is a step into the dystopia future where the government bulldozes constitutional rights. It will be challenged in court by governors across the nation. Malintakis said, and many Republican governors said Biden's mandate went way too far. The president has no authority to require that Americans inject themselves because of their employment at a private business. The vaccine itself is life-saving, but this unconstitutional move is terrifying. This is still America, and we still believe in freedom from tyrants. South Dakota will stand up to defend the freedom. During a Thursday appearance on Fox News, Republican Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota said, "It shocked me that the president actually said in his speech that this wasn't about freedom and personal choice at all, when I think is indicative of what's really in his heart and the agenda that he's got for this country." Listen, this is not a power that is delegated to the federal government. This is a power for states to decide. In South Dakota, we're going to be free, and we're going to make sure that we don't overstep our authority, so we will take action. My legal team is already working, and we will defend and protect our people from this unlawful mandate. Mark Meadows, former White House Chief of Staff and a board member of American First Legal and from North Carolina, said he would fight back, hold Biden accountable, and protect individual rights against these unlawful mandates. Joe Biden started the year claiming he wouldn't mandate vaccines, and 9 months later, mired in failing policy and plummeting poll numbers, his administration is going back on their word, Meadows said in a statement. He's now saying they ought to mandate that. There's one sure way to get around President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate: be part of either the legislative or judicial branches of the federal government. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said the mandate does not apply to members of the House, according to Newsweek. She's saying she cannot force members to be vaccinated, which is true. The New York Times reported that the vaccine edict issued by Biden does not apply to the federal court system either. Vaccine mandate has triggered howls of protest. So it's mandated for you and me to get on an airplane, stay in certain hotels or eat at certain restaurants, particularly in New York City. But it's okay for the men and women of the Congress to walk up and down the hallways, go into offices and close the door without a mask on. Look, if it's good for one, it's good for the other. If it's bad for one, it's bad for the other. It's not a blanket thing or mandated thing. So you out there, you poor people out there listening to me now, you poor people, we're in Congress. We do what we want to do, and you got to do what we tell you to do. Look, I'm the President of the United States, and I'm the Vice President of the United States, and I'm a senator, and I'm a congressman. You do what we tell you to do, and you get along fine, and we won't have any problem. But don't look at us. Do what we say. Don't do what we do. Do what we say do. That's the kind of attitude to have up there, and I personally don't like it. Republican leaders of the Education and Labor Committee, Virginia Foxx, who is on this show often and will be on again next month, she gave the following statement after the White House announced it would be ordering the Department of Labor to issue a national regulation on worker vaccination. She said, quote, "Biden has no business issuing a burdensome vaccine regulation that will further harm overworked and struggling business owners. This is a Hail Mary attempt by a president who is failing to crush the virus and is now burdening job creators with a rushed and unprecedented regulation. This mandate will subject employers to even more financial penalties if they fail to keep up with the administration's expensive and ever-changing policies, twisting the knife in our bleeding economy's back yet again. Inflation is up, jobs are going unfilled, and our president is passing the buck to struggling and overworked business owners. Biden isn't crushing the virus. He's crushing our economy and constitutional rights." Virginia Foxx, lead on, my friend, lead on. It's 8:48. You're listening to WCAB. My name's Bishop. Jim Bishop.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
So what's the new Medicare Advantage benefits for 2022? Can you get up to $148.50 of the Medicare Part B premium put back in your Social Security check? Do you qualify for all the benefits you're seeing advertised on TV? Do not call that number on your television screen and work with someone that you're never going to meet. Call the professional services of Tim Freshour. He's a local guy who will help you get everything you're entitled to. Tim can come by your home or do it remotely if you're concerned about safety. Representing plans from AARP, United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, Humana, WellCare, and more. Call Tim Freshour today to answer all your Medicare questions. 828-302-2303. There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117. The Medicine Box in Rutherfordton now has the flu shots available. No appointment is needed. And they also have the COVID and booster shots available. Appointment is preferred.
Just minutes away from My Great America with Jim and Butch here on the program. There's a story from, I believe this is from the Western Journal. Global obsession with coronavirus has cost countless lives. The global obsession and only the coronavirus, the global obsession with the coronavirus and only the coronavirus has cost countless lives over the last 18 months. One mother is lashing out at the UK health system after her daughter died of cancer after being refused an in-person doctor's appointment for months. According to her family, Jessica Brady might still be alive today if only doctors had seen her face-to-face last year. But Jessica didn't have COVID-19, so she was left to languish at home, according to reports and online petition. She died at the age of 27 after doctors failed to spot her tumor in virtual appointments. Now her family is speaking out. Our precious daughter, Jessica, died on the 20th of December, 2020. She was 27 years old, wrote Jessica's mother, Andre Brady, in an online petition aimed at Britain's Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, Sajid David. She had been ill for 6 months, but the spring-summer lockdown meant face-to-face consultations with her GP were restricted, and numerous antibodies were prescribed, even in the absence of a physical examination. Jessica was told for months she was suffering from long COVID despite 2 negative coronavirus tests. She had 2 negative tests, but she was told she was suffering from long COVID in spite of the test showing negative. Andre Brady went on to plead for changes to the way cancer screenings and treatments are handled for young people, citing the tragic manner in which her daughter allegedly fell through the cracks. The Daily Mail reported that Jessica's liver cancer went unnoticed despite worsening symptoms and fatigue and even concerning test results. By the time she got an in-person visit with a private doctor, the disease had spread to her lungs, bones, and spine, and it was too late. She was finally diagnosed with cancer on the 26th of November, her grieving mother wrote. Her dependency upon oxygen from that date meant she did not leave the hospital ever to return home. She died weeks later. We're obviously devastated. Our world has been shattered. The Mail reported that Andre Brady had a chance to share her daughter's story with British lawmakers. She said, I think the most important thing is we feel, and Jess felt, that no one listened. No one took it seriously, no more than anything. She needed a face-to-face appointment, but they would not see her, even though she tested negative on the COVID. The doctor was so afraid to see her, and they would not see her face-to-face, do a diagnosis. She died from cancer because of it. All right. It's about 7 minutes now before 9 o'clock. One other quick note here, and then we'll step away. Give our voices a break here. Get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Conservative media host Bill O'Reilly, who is heard here every morning 7:10 on his update. Bill O'Reilly told Newsmax that former Virginia Governor Terry McLaughlin will lose the gubernatorial race to his Republican challenger, Glenn Youngkin. Appearing Monday on Eric Bolling, The Balance, O'Reilly said the poor father in Loudoun County, whose daughter was raped, that's going to cause McLaughlin to lose, so Youngkin will beat him 8 days from today. According to an Emerson College poll conducted October 22nd, 23rd, McLaughlin and Youngkin are neck and neck at 48% each. O'Reilly said if McLaughlin loses, that's huge. That's a big, big negative for the Democrat Party. But on a different track, as the interview continued, O'Reilly called for President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, to be fired. O'Reilly said, quote, Fauci himself should be removed tomorrow by President Biden. Does Fauci know that $7 million from the National Institutes of Health went to this organization, Echo Health, and then that went to Wuhan? I don't know what Fauci knows or knew, but I know enough to say that I don't trust the man. I don't think 95% of Americans trust him, so why is he there? Get rid of him. His credibility is gone, O'Reilly said, and he speaks, of course, very plainly and very openly about that. Well, a couple of winners this morning on the Southern Christmas Show tickets. Ann Padgett was the first winner of 2 tickets, and Linda Reynolds was the second winner of 2 tickets. Very simple, fun-loving kind of questions. First question I asked was, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? They have in common the same middle name, Alexander the Great, Winnie the Pooh. And the second question I asked, what happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? And the answer, of course, it gets towed away. And Linda Reynolds got that answer correct, and they both have won a pair of tickets now to the Southern Christmas. Be sure to stay tuned, and we'll do a lot more of that kind of thing in the next few days as the Southern Christmas Show draws nigh. And tonight we have Braves and the Astros. Tonight as the World Series kicks in, we'll have that game. As far as the Braves are there, we will stay there with them. So be sure to hang around with us. And thanks for joining me this morning. Thanks for letting me be a part of your morning, your wake-up call. Appreciate it so very, very much.
No silly giggling, no screaming and yelling, no vulgar language, and no put-downs. We're up, live, and family-friendly. We are WCAB Radio, serving your family 24 hours a day.
Advisors deciding today whether to approve Pfizer's vaccine for children.
There are nearly 30 million kids 5 to 11 years old in this country, and Dr. Francis Collins at the National Institutes of Health told ABC News giving them a shot of the Pfizer vaccine would protect them from getting sick.
And they also are capable of spreading this to others, so if we can create a situation where more of these kids are not getting infected, we should be able to drive this pandemic down.
The administration has already purchased enough pediatric doses to fully vaccinate all American children in the age group. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
The CDC would still need to approve the shots after the FDA panel's recommendation. Pro-democracy protests blocking roads in Sudan's capital with makeshift barricades and burning tires. The country's top general, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, says that the prime minister is being detained at the company's own home, not in a prison. The military coup happening as the country had tried to transition to democracy. ABC's Connor Finnegan.
Burhan and other military leaders said that they would install a new technocratic government until Sudan could hold democratic elections next July. But the Sudanese people are not buying it. Thousands came out into the streets to demonstrate against the military coup, just as they had last Thursday, actually. They had poured into the streets in Khartoum and across the country to once again demonstrate their support for this transitional government, for civilian rule, and for democratic elections next year.
The leaders of a Senate panel have called execs from YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat to face questions on whether the companies are doing enough to ensure young users' safety. That move following hearings with Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen. Facebook on a call with investors this week, telling them the company's profits up 17% in the second quarter. From the Northeast to the Midwest to the Pacific Northwest, nasty weather making the morning commute difficult for a lot of Americans. This is ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Questions, but no charges yet for the parents of the 3 siblings who were left alone in a Houston area apartment for months. A 4th child found dead inside that apartment. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Police have tracked down the abandoned children's parents, questioned them for hours, but then released them without filing charges. Child Protective Services reports having no active investigation at the time the 3 kids and the remains of a 4th were located. Now CPS is seeking emergency custody of the children.
The investigation continues into the deadly shooting on that set of an Alec Baldwin movie in New Mexico. The assistant director who gave Baldwin the gun during a rehearsal was apparently fired from the set of another movie in 2019 when a gun went off, leaving 1 person hurt. Comedian Dave Chappelle speaking out about the controversy over his Netflix special, criticized as transphobic. ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Dave Chappelle's response to those who say he's battling the LGBTQ community over his Netflix special, The Closer. He says that's not the case and don't blame them.
It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
He made the comments while on tour and posted the video on Instagram Monday, also refuting claims that he won't meet with transgender employees at Netflix.
That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it.
And he says,
everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about.
Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Wednesday temperatures today reached the mid-60s and lower 70s with a strong flow out of the northwest, allowing our temperatures to be on the cooler side. It's going to also be a breezy one with winds gusting near 30 miles per hour at times. As we head into tonight, we'll be dry. Temperatures will fall into the low to mid-40s. Highs will be slightly warmer for tomorrow in the lower 70s. Rain making a comeback on Thursday. We could see some severe storms as well. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It is warming up nicely. It's up to 55 degrees now and sunny skies prevailing out there. The wind's still blowing, though. It's going to be pretty heavy windy today, but wind gust up to about 24 miles per hour, but no rain in the forecast for a couple of days yet. So let's have another great getting up morning here in the foothills. It's 9:05. This is 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Butch.
Good morning, Jim.
I've got your microphone set up here in the Blue Room, and you're not here.
I know. You know what? When I got up early this morning, I had that same feeling inside of me that I used to have when you heard your name over the intercom and the principal said, "Would Butch Walty please come down to the office?" You know, you remember? Did that ever happen to you?
Oh, yes, a few times, yes.
Yeah, you know, I'm not quite sure why it is, but a few times that it would happen, I always remember immediately saying, "What have I done wrong?" And, you know, Scripture tells us that we ought to keep a clean and pure heart. But anyway, my mother's closing. It's like a baby that's 15 months due here. It happens on Friday. And my brother's coming up from Greensboro tomorrow with the U-Haul, and that's only to bring some items back to Greensboro. The movers actually come early next week, and we've just been going down the list. Do you remember the last time you moved? Just all the details of what you have to do.
Oh, it's more complicated than one thinks at the beginning.
Yeah, and I keep finding all kinds of things, you know, like Cox cable, the internet connection, the storage unit, terminating that, dealing with the homeowners association, last-minute items before closing, things that came out of the home inspection, and then, of course, 30-plus years of things that have been accumulated by my mother. And you got to be sensitive. You can't just say, well, let's see those disposed of or give those away. So it's really kind of a history lesson because you're reliving history, including your own. She's got a box that says Butch on it that's got all my old school papers, and I'm finding myself wondering whatever happened to my perfect handwriting. Now I've got this scratched scribble, Jim. So life changes, doesn't it?
I'll bet you find a lot of memories, though, in some of those boxes that you haven't thought about in a long time.
Well, no, I haven't, and I've always been somebody that's been so forward thinking. I don't spend a lot of time looking backwards, but, you know, I will say this, there was a seriousness about the prose that I wrote even back then and a very strong commitment to justice. I mean, I always had a sense of who are the people who are on the edges, who are the people that are not being considered, who are the underdogs, what can we do to help them? And so, Jim, that started early in my life, and now at WCAB, there's the opportunity to, you know, just try to be bring out a Paul Revere lantern, you know, and ride and say along with you, hey, you know what? There is light. There is life. There's another day that's coming. So anyway, today is October 26th, and on this day in history, Jim, in 1861, the legendary Pony Express officially ceased operations. I used to love stories about the Pony Express. I used to think that was so incredible. You'd have these guys riding on horses and then jumping on another horse. Remember that whole model there, what they did?
Yes. How many miles did they travel? I forgot how many miles they would travel before they have to change horses again, but they'd always have a fresh horse at the next stop.
Right. It was kind of exhausting. I remember when I first saw some of the, different programs that would talk about that. And also on this day in 1881, the gunfight at the OK Corral took place in Tombstone. Arizona, yeah. Wyatt Earp and his two brothers and Doc Holliday confronted Ike Clanton's gang. 3 members of Clanton's gang were killed, and Earp's brothers and Holliday were wounded. So that happened on October 26th in 1881. And then just a year ago, Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed to the Supreme Court by a deeply divided Senate with Republicans overpowering Democrats to install President Trump's nominee not too many days before the election and secure a likely conservative court majority for years to come. So that was a year ago, Jim.
Well, if you're a car enthusiast, you may remember this, too. Back in 1954, Chevrolet unveiled its V8 engine for the first time ever back in 54. So the car enthusiasts will appreciate that.
Jim, I love that. I mean, I love that. You know, Todd, by the way, recently when I've been calling in, Todd's been giving me little nuggets. And I told him, I said, now, Todd, I'm going to start referring to you as the 520-pound preacher. He reminded me this morning. He always has some nugget to offer, and I love it. He's a dear brother and friend. But he had a little nugget this morning. He reminded me about how many rocks or stones that David picked up when he was going to go into that epic battle with Goliath. And then the reminder was he picked up the other rocks in all likelihood because of his brothers. He's got, you know, Todd is one of those people that you just have to dig a little bit, and all of a sudden you're going to learn some treasured bits of information. I really love that every time I call in. But, you know, Jim, I wanted to start out our program today, and I am looking forward to getting home and at the same time realizing when Scripture talks about the reality that we should take care of orphans, we should take care of widows, you know, true and undefiled religion, not just what's preached from pulpits, is, you know, in this case, really trying to serve Jesus by serving a mother. And I'm so grateful for your forbearance, and even for people that maybe listen to My Great America. This journey is soon to be over, but it's been a righteous one, and I'm grateful for everybody's patience along the way. But, you know, I was thinking that, go ahead, Jim.
You're where you need to be. That's where you need to be.
Well, and you know, you're a gracious partner in this effort, and you know that, and I've never sensed a buck or a pushback. But, you know, I was reminded again today, Jim, of Romans 12:15, where it says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, sharing others' joy, and weep with those who weep, sharing others' grief." And we know that God is the provider, and God gives us all that we need. But in the last week, two of our dear friends, Tracy there at the station with her father, Jimmy Hauser, and Sandra Norris, who many people may remember as a teacher, where was it, at Central or East?
I think East.
At East. I mean, she's beloved in the county. Her husband, David Norris, passed away in the past week, and Tracy lost her father, Jimmy Hauser, and Scripture tells us we're to rejoice with people who rejoice and weep with those who weep. And we don't weep without understanding of what God has said about death, but we do come up around people. And so I wanted to, from Virginia, from here, just extend my prayers and my heartfelt commitment as I was texting with Tracy yesterday and as I have texted with Sandra. We as the WCAB family aren't just people that read obituaries. We take seriously the injunction of Scripture that we're going to rejoice with people in those times of rejoicing, and we're going to put our arms around folks. We're going to love them, encourage them, see what we can do practically to help them, and reflect the love of the living God as a light to our county by not just announcing that people have died, but saying, you know what, we want to be here to care for and comfort you.
Yes, well said. And we've had so many deaths so close to us here at WCB, and family friends have passed on in recent years. So there's been a lot of that, and a lot of burdens to help carry. But we'll get through that through the help of the Lord.
Exactly. And you know what? It reminded me, just because your partner on this effort, My Great America with Jim and Butch, loves to study. You know, I did a little survey this morning, Jim. Do you know every single day about 163,898 people die in the world? That's about 6,829 deaths per hour. That's 114 every minute.
Wow.
That's almost 2 deaths per second. And in the United States, about 8,159 people die each day. Death is a part of life. And I just want to put a stake in the ground again and say there is nothing greater that a person can do than answer the question, what will I do with Jesus? Because Scripture makes it very clear. We're appointed unto man once to die, and after that, the judgment. What we do with our time, our talent, and our treasure is going to say a lot about eternity. It's going to say everything about how we'll spend eternity. And, Jim, I know you love hymns,
Yes.
and I know you love hymns, and it's one of many things I just appreciate so much about you. And you of course, are familiar with the hymn "Just As I Am."
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and remind everybody again who doesn't know of one of many reasons why that's a famous hymn.
Well, one of the reasons it is so famous, Billy Graham used that at the concluding of every crusade he did, I think, across America. And Cliff Barrows led the choir time and time again with the old hymn, Just As I Am. And, of course, many churches today use that as their invitation to come forward to it and receive the Lord as well. So it's a great hymn, and because it's telling us just as we are right now, we don't have to change anything to come to him, but come just as we are, with our scars and our blemishes and our wrongdoings, come as we are. We don't have to dress up to come. Come as I am, just as I am.
That is so powerful. And, Jim, that is what – now, Todd's going to ask me later. There you go with that word again that's not a North Carolina word. That is a powerful segue, Jim, into the story behind the story, which is so relevant for us today, on the hymn Just As I Am. Of course, it's built on the verse, John 6:37, that says, all that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. Well, here's the story behind the story of Just As I Am. She was an embittered woman, Charlotte Elliott of Brighton, England. Her health was broken. Her disability had hardened her. If God loved me, she muttered, he would not have treated me this way. Hoping to help her, a Swiss minister, Dr. Caesar Milan, visited the Elliots on May 9th, 1822. Over dinner, Charlotte lost her temper and railed against God and family in a violent outburst. Her embarrassed family left the room, and Dr. Milan was left alone with her. You are tired of yourself, aren't you? He asked. You are holding to your hate and anger because you have nothing else in the world to cling to. Consequently, you have become sour, bitter, and resentful. What is your cure? Asked Charlotte. The faith you were trying to despise. As they talked, Charlotte softened. If I wanted to become a Christian and share the peace and joy you possess, she finally asked, what would I do? You would give yourself to God just as you are now, with your fighting, fears, hates, loves, pride, and shame. I would come to God just as I am. Is that right? Charlotte did come just as she was, and her heart was changed that day. As time passed, she found and claimed John 6:37 as a special verse for her. He who comes to me, I will by no means cast out. Years later, her brother, Reverend Henry Elliott, was raising funds for a school for the children of poor clergymen. Charlotte wrote a poem, and it was printed and sold across England. The leaflet said, sold for the benefit of St. Margaret's Hall, Brighton, him that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. Underneath was Charlotte's poem, which has since become the most famous invitational hymn in history. She lived to be 82, wrote about 150 hymns, and though she never enjoyed good health, her loved ones sifted through her papers after her death, and they found over 1,000 letters she had kept in which people expressed their gratitude for the way this hymn had changed their life.
Wow.
Just as I am.
Great story. That's a great story. And many inmates across the country that hear that song recognize the fact that although they have a ugly background, they can come just as they are and bring it all to him and lay it at his foot, at the foot of the cross, and it'll all be forgiven.
Exactly. And you know, sometimes we sing hymns, Jim, and we forget that there are words, especially the old hymns. There are words and content and phrases that are so solid. And, you think about the words of just as I am, without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. Just as I am, and waiting to rid my soul of one dark blot, to thee whose blood can cleanse each spot, O Lamb of God, I come. Just as I am, though tossed about, with many a conflict, many a doubt, fightings and fears within, without, O Lamb of God, I come. Just as I am, poor, wretched, blind, sight, riches, healing of the mind, yes, all I need in thee to find, O Lamb of God, I come. And then finally, just as I am, thou wilt receive with welcome, pardon, cleanse, relieve, because thy promise I believe, O Lamb of God, I come. Jim, it's simple but so powerful, isn't it?
It's about as humble as you can get coming before the throne is whatever I'm bringing just as I am. I like that. Great words.
Well, and Jim, we have a lot of people. We have a new word that has come into our vocabulary that flies right in the face of what we've been trying to do with My Great America with Jim and Butch. We try to bring light and life and truth. There is no freedom. There is no life. There is no hope unless there's truth. And, there's a new word that Merriam-Webster has included in the dictionary called doom scrolling. And I wanted to know again what they meant by that. And here's the definition. Doom scrolling and doom surfing are new terms referring to the tendency to continue to surf or scroll through bad news, even though that news is personally saddening, disheartening, or depressing. For example, many people are finding themselves reading continuously bad news about COVID-19 without the ability to stop or step back. So we have people wallowing in the sewage, wondering why they feel the way they do all the time.
That's a great observation.
And what we know, Jim, is that Scripture, among other things, tells us that laughter doeth good like medicine. And there are even in the secular scientific community, the medical community, I was reading in the Mayo Clinic newsletter recently, researchers continue to explore the effects of positive thinking and optimism on health. The health benefits seemingly across the board from people who keep a positive approach to life include increased lifespan, lower rates of depression, lower rates of distress, greater resistance to the common cold, better physical well-being, better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of disease from cardiovascular disease, better coping skills during hardships and times of stress. And we know the greatest hope, the only true hope, eternal hope, is found in Jesus. But, Jim, people that keep a positive attitude are ones that are healthier, happier, and bring life to those around us. And that's really what you've done. I've watched it in your life.
Well, thank you. I'm a great believer in optimism, positive thinking, and believing the best is going to happen. Best is yet to come. In spite of the ugliness, there's still some good things around the corner. I believe it.
Well, and it really comes through. And there's some good things around the corner for our county as well. We've got a lot going on. I can give you a heads up. I've been working with Bryson Smith, who's our 26-year-old chairman for the local Republican Party, and there's some things going on with redistricting. Jim, do you have any opinions on that? Any thoughts on that? I know that he's going to put a little note out about some of the historical precedents as it relates to gerrymandering and redistricting and all of that. But I mean, just be the person that you are that kind of knows the county a little bit. What do you see as some key issues coming up ahead?
Well, I certainly, first of all, my opinion is I wish they would leave it, decide on something and leave it without bouncing us back and forth. Rutherford County seems to be the one that gets caught in the split. We have right now split with two congressmen, which is a great thing for us to have two representatives, I guess, but part of the people vote for one district, the 11th, and part vote in the 5th. And I would like to see us become a one-district community. I think working together as a whole rather than two split divisions might can make a difference. And I see that being a political football that happens from time to time, where whoever's going to get the best benefit of how the redistricting takes place is what whoever's in power is going to help. And now there's a hearing coming up. I just had that story a moment ago. Hearing coming up in a few days where folks get to hear the plan that's out there. And I don't know that it'll make a difference in what they say about it, because the people in power are going to make that call anyway, but they are at least giving us an opportunity to say what we think about how they're lining us up. I suspect Rutherford County will go back under one district again. I'm not sure if it's going to be the 11th or the 5th or maybe even a new one. We'll have to wait and see.
It's so interesting, isn't it? And, there are people, Jim, that I know that sometimes have stepped off the cliff in their legitimate political interests, locally and nationally, have become almost an addiction where all they can think about is politics. Now, that's a danger. That's certainly not what God calls us to. But at the same time, there is a huge danger when people look back and say, well, you know what, there's really nothing I can do. It'll be what it is. The whole phrase, it is what it is, I've never really liked. I'm going to confess that, because it's not is what it is. It is what God wants it to be. And we need to participate actively in working to make that happen. So I know Bryson Smith is going to have a note that goes out to folks that's going to explain some of the perspectives that the local Republican Party in Rutherford County has on all of this. And in the midst of all that, we just need to pray that God's will be done. I've been reminded recently again, Jim, the only place of peace and power in our life is when we come to a place of saying the only thing that I want is God's will for my day and for my life. It certainly was the pattern of Jesus, and it should be the pattern of our life each day. So,
well, we certainly have two strong Congress people right now in both the 11th and 5th representing us. Virginia Fox and Cawthorn both are doing a great job representing us, and it'd be a shame to lose either one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a fun and interesting thing that happened. I had a conversation with Congressman Virginia Fox at the Lincoln Reagan dinner, and out of that grew a place of understanding that we both knew somebody, Dr. Gary Andres, who serves as the head of the House Republican Ways and Means Committee. I mean, that means he oversees a huge staff. I think it's a couple hundred people. Well, he and I were roommates back at Wheaton College, and Gary and I haven't talked in a while, but his name came up because I just asked in passing, Congressman Fox, do you know Gary Andres? She said he is incredibly highly regarded all through the halls of Congress on both sides of the aisle. She said, that's so interesting that you knew him. And I said, yeah, we were roommates. So in any event, she ended up going back to Washington, Jim. She wrote Gary Andres a note and said, here's the contact information on a guy that I met named Butch Maltby. And I had a note back from Gary. We haven't talked in about 7 years. And all of that came about from a little sidebar conversation at the Lincoln Reagan dinner. So I was really enthused by that. He and I will probably talk sometime next week. Now, as we round the home stretch in our potpourri that typically is what My Great America with Jim and Butch is, we touch on a number of different things. I've had some people ask, how is that FreightWorks podcast going called Life by the Mile? And we've got more than a dozen episodes that are already completed. And if you're interested in learning about the incredible lives of American truckers, celebrating the heroes that are part of the supply and logistics chain in the United States, you can go to lifebythemile.com. And Jim, you'll find I'm learning so much about trucking, and I love it. So people have asked, and I thought with your permission here, I'll just let folks know. Go to lifebythemile.com, and you'll find some very interesting episodes about American truckers.
Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stories.
Well, let's get back together in that blue room there, Jim. It requires both of our presences, and I'll see you soon, and God bless America.
God bless America. Be safe on the road.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.